everyone, and welcome to In the Mist. Analia Raven here, and on today's video we're going to look at some of the tarot decks that I've collected over the years. They're not going to be in any particular order from favorites to, not so favorite. I'm just going to walk through them and let you guys see what I have and what I like to read with most of the time when it comes to tarot. I do have a few oracle decks, not many, probably about 3, simply because I enjoy tarot a lot more than oracle. That's just my preference. And before we get started into looking at the different types of decks, I'm just going to recommend that you guys, if you're going to do tarot and journey through tarot and do divination through tarot, it's best to keep a journal, like a tarot journal dedicated. This isn't mine, it's the most recent one I have. And it just has the history of tarot in it that I've written down, my interpretations of the cards, and some numerology based on what number the card is, some information about the elements, earth, air, fire, and water, for symbolizing swords or athames or cups or chalices or pentacles or discs. Those symbolize earth, air, fire, water. And so, yeah, keep a tarot journal around so you can write down the different spreads that you used and which card was in which position in the spread and what that card means. So you can go back and look at it later and see exactly what you may have missed and read it from there. So getting into the decks, I have, if you guys watch a lot of tarot videos or if you read tarot yourself, you'll recognize this one. It is the Shadowscapes Tarot. It comes with this beautiful book, and it just has some spreads in it, a little bit about the history and the meanings of the cards. It's fairly thick. And the cards, the cardstock isn't like that glossy. This is the back of the card. So it's got a beautiful backing to it. And here's the front of this card. I believe this is the 5 of Wands. And I use this deck for like artistic endeavors and like whimsical. I would consider this deck to be very whimsical. Sorry, that was upside down. Due to the artwork and the coloring. Show you this one here. These are discs, or nope, sorry, Page of Swords. Excuse me. So yeah, you can see that the artwork in this deck is really whimsical and fae-like, so I like to use this deck for spiritual or artistic endeavors, and it really works well with that, with those types of things. I wouldn't use it for mundane workings, simply because it does, the energy of this deck doesn't feel, this is Justice, very mundane to me, if that makes any sense. Here's the Emperor. So that's the feel of these cards, the Shadowscapes Tarot by Stephanie Kumanlaw and Barbara Moore. I'm sorry if I pronounce any of the last names wrong. Yeah. So moving on to the next deck. This is a new deck that I got fairly recently, this year actually, and it's from Anne Mora, the Greenwich Tarot. It comes in this nice box, and I'm going to be using this during the wintry season. And it comes with this pretty thick book, and again has the spreads and the meanings of the cards. And the back of these cards looks like this. They just seem so festive in my opinion. I don't know, the artwork seems more of a wintry holiday sort of feel. What do you guys think? So, because I haven't had a chance to really use this deck, because I just got it and I haven't had a need to use it, so maybe during this time of year I will get a chance to use it. 10 of Chalices. I'm wondering if I can find a... They have, in this deck, they have different names for some of the major arcana, and like Lord and Lady, and they have the Earth Mother and the Earth Father. I just can't find a higher or major arcana right now. Just kind of annoying. And so they have things, it's more of a Wiccan sort of take on tarot. So kind of it stems off of the Rider-Waite Tarot. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to find a higher arcana that might be a bit different, but so far only seeing minors. But yeah. Oh yeah, so here's one, Nature. And we have, for the Tower, we have like the Wild Hunt. And we do have a Star. And the Moon. And I think for these cards, the meanings of these things might be slightly different due to the symbolism being used and the other cards that are within it. So you kind of have to go by feel. And we have Harvest and cards like the World Tree. So I'm going to definitely journey with these and see exactly what those other types of cards really mean before I actually do readings with clients with them, because I like to have a feel for the cards before I do readings for clients or for people. So, and then this deck, sorry I'm off camera, getting decks. This deck I've had ever since I was in high school, and it is the Drudecraft deck, also a very popular tarot deck. It comes with this wonderfully written book. It does have history in there, it has symbolism and spreads, and it also has this spread where you can lay out all the cards in a huge circle and journey with them through each part of the, see, like this. So it has this spread here where you sit in the middle of the circle and you have the higher arcana in the middle, inner circle, and then you have the pip cards or the kings, queens, and pages or knights in the second circle, and then you have the suits in the outer circle. And so you're journeying, if I can talk, within to without into the mundane world. So I really like that that offer that the Drudecraft Tarot gives you as a journey offer, instead of just reading the cards for people or yourself. And this one is by Philip and Stephanie Cargone and illustrated by Will Worthington, if you're interested in that. And I don't have the box for this because it was a gift from one of my old mentors. So here is the Drudecraft deck. This is what the back looks like. They're pretty beat up because I've used them, and I use them for almost everything. They're especially good for career. There's the Death card and everyday life stuff, and they have cards in here like Cernunnos. And here's Justice. And if you're going to work with these cards, I suggest that you learn the symbolism of some of the Druid symbols, simply because it's going to have a different meaning. The card itself is going to have a different meaning than the regular tarot deck, because it has different symbols, and it really does make the difference in a reading. If you're reading for yourself or other people, if you know the symbols, the Druid symbols here, it'll be a much deeper reading. And the original deck had borders. They had white borders, so I had to cut them down because they're fairly large. So if you get your deck and it's got white borders. It's because I had to cut mine down. So that's the 10 of Pentacles. So yes, definitely Druid and Celtic inspired with the artwork and the symbols. So that's the Drudecraft deck. And it definitely shows you like the mundane world in a light where you can understand it. So I definitely use these a lot for career and just general life stuff for people and for myself included. If I wanted to know things of what I need to do for my career or life path choice, the Drudecraft deck is good for that. So, and then this deck I haven't used at all because I won it in an auction, and it is the Cat People's deck. I'm not really sure, I just really like the artwork, and it comes with this fairly thick book, and I'm not really sure how to pronounce the last name of this person, but it says Illustrations and Designs by Karen, and if you guys can pronounce that last name, that's what it's from, who it's from. And I simply picked this up because the artwork was beautiful. And here's the back, these little cute cats. And it has a diversity of different people in there, culture-wise. So, and with this deck, it's good to know the different meanings of the cats, because they seem to play a big role. Obviously, it's the Cat People deck. So, here's the world. And the art is very beautiful in this deck. I just don't know exactly what I would use it for. And that's Rejuvenation. That's another like wild card within this deck. And you can see the different diversity with the people. This one's pretty. So this is the Cat People deck. And as soon as I find a reason to use this deck, then I will let you guys know, or it'll be on video for you guys to see. And it doesn't come, I didn't get it in like a big box. I got it in one of these little boxes, which is pretty beat up. And the book came separately with the deck, because it just came with a little thin booklet. And then I got the Enchanted Tarot, which comes with this book here, and the box, I have no idea where the box is. So I got this when I was in college, and I would use this deck for relationships. That's the feel of the deck of what it brings to me. So there's the back of those. And just because the artwork is a bit in the more relationship category, I would say, there's the Devil card. And reading these cards is fairly simple, except when you get to like cards like this where it doesn't really have much of an image, but duality and so it's got like an Art Deco, Victorian type feel with bright colors. It's not necessarily something I would go for on a regular day, but that's why it's only for relationships, and I don't really do a lot of readings for relationships. Surprisingly, I don't have a lot of requests. Well, I haven't had a lot of requests for a relationship. It's mostly been career and other life things. So, but maybe someday soon I can break these puppies out and they can get to work. So yeah, that's the Enchanted Tarot, and it's rather an expensive deck, I would say. So you're going to be paying a lot for this deck. if you're getting it off of Amazon, at least last time I checked. And that's and then the next one I got, most of these tarot decks I got at half-price books, except for maybe a couple. But this one is from Half Price Books. I picked it up. I don't know why I decided on this one, but I just thought it was just different because they have different types of artwork here, and water. They have the earth, air, fire, water instead of swords, wands, or pentacles for the elements. So they actually have the elements on there. There's the Hierophant. And I like the artwork of the suits more so than the ones of the higher arcana. And that's usually not the case for me, but the artwork on these lower arcana or minor arcanas are really beautiful. So this is Fire, Mother Fire. That would be like the Queen of Wands. And Wind is for swords, so like you're looking at the Two of Swords here, just to translate. And then Mother Water, you'd be looking at the Queen of Cups, and the back looks just like this. And I'm considering on cutting off the borders, but I'm not sure. I might just leave them alone, because I'm not really a fan of the tarot borders. I don't know, what do you guys think of that? The tarot cards having those big white borders, or that one deck. What's the name of that one deck that has those orange borders? They're like really thick, but the cards are beautiful, but it's got this awful orange border around it. So if I were to get those cards, then I would definitely cut that off. Oops, there went a tarot deck. And then this one, the Pathfinder Tarot, I got at Goodwill here in my southern Indiana town. And the artwork on these cards are really, really colorful. So here's the back of them. They're like this red fiery color. And then this is the Fool. And I don't use these for regular everyday readings. The last time I used these cards, it was in a group setting where the person we did a spread for the Celtic Cross spread, and I assigned each person a position in the spread, and they were responsible for interpreting their position in the spread. And then at the end, we all interpreted the entire spread as a whole together. So, and that's why I use these cards, because they're fairly large and easily interpreted, I think. And fairly colorful too, very eye-catching. So, like, let's see if I can show you some lower arcanas. And yeah, like I said, I found these at Goodwill, and they were like, how much? Like $12 maybe 10, like $10 to $12. So it's pretty good for a tarot deck, because they usually run from like 20 to 30, even higher. It's the Pathfinders, and they're all really colorful. Ugh, my fingers are in the way. So that's the Pathfinder's deck. And the one that I love the most is the one that I do shadow work with, and that's the Mariel Tarot. I don't know if you've heard of that. It comes in this big, huge box, and it's relatively expensive to buy this deck. And the book, I do not touch the book whatsoever, simply because I believe this deck was made for artistic purposes due to what the book says, not to read, because it just doesn't make sense with the card. At least in my opinion, I just think the book is kind of useless. But the cards, however, are gorgeous. I had to cut them down, I'm trying to get them all out, from their original size, because this is their original size, and the cardstock is fairly shiny and slippery, and that needs to be, I think that, and that's the back of the cards. All the cards have that backing to it, so the original size, and this is how I had to cut them down. So you can see quite a difference for me to be able to hold them in my hand. So this is the Page of Wands, and the artwork in here is beautiful. So 8 of Cups, and perfect for shadow work, I think. They definitely reveal things that are hidden. And the diversity of people in here is just gorgeous, and I think every deck should have that diversity of artwork and scenes and people, simply because that's how the world is. And tarot is supposed to be the map of the world, your spiritual and your mundane world. And so why should it look any different? And the High Priestess card is gorgeous. So yes, the Mariel Tarot for shadow work, the dark half of the year, is brilliant. And I'm so happy that I splurged on this deck. I mean, the artwork is definitely different from the Rider-Waite, and that's, I mean, I like it to be different because the shadow is different. So I would definitely recommend this deck. However, I wouldn't recommend the book of the deck. So speaking of the Rider-Waite, I did get the smith-waite tarot deck very recently, because the one that I did have a regular Rider-Waite deck, and I turned it into an art project when I was in high school, so, and I just never replaced it. So finally I got the smith-waite deck, and it's the one without borders. And here are the back, and I actually like these cards. I would use these cards for pretty much anything, like general readings. The artwork is really nice and traditional. So, and I like the ones without borders because it looks like the image is jumping out the card with me, or at me. And I think the borders are pretty distracting when I do have cards that have borders on them. It's much easier to read them without borders. I don't know why, and I don't know if any other tarot reader feels the same way, but these are the smith-waite tarot deck, which I love. And then some similar traditional type deck is the Wisdom, the Tarot Wisdom, and this one, it comes in this box, and the cards come in a separate box. The book is attached, it's fairly thin, so you'd have to get like a different book to kind of give you more history on it. But the cards are actually really nice, I think. However, the people, there's only people, like images, people on the minor or the major arcana. The minor arcanas kind of have just the thing, like the suit, and that's pretty much it. Which is how it originally used to be. So it kind of just has, like that's the 8 of Wands or 8 of Staffs. And then the queens, kings, and pages have people too. So it's just when you get like into so here's my major arcana, and the artwork is pretty traditional, I think. So it'd be the Ace of Staves or Wands, and then the back of these cards look like this. which I think that's my favorite part about these cards, is the backs. And that's probably why I picked them up, because it's been a long time. So, and here's some more. But yeah, and again, I would use these cards for everyday things, not necessarily for spiritual artistic endeavors, simply because the artwork on here is just, you know, everyday sort of artwork. Not like everyday sort of artwork, but like, I don't know, just the energy of this deck doesn't seem very mystical, in my opinion. I don't know if that makes sense, because I go by energy and I like to read intuitively, and so that is the way I go. That is the way I do it. And that's how I pick up different tarot decks, is by the feel and not by the meanings or just what I need at the time. So that's why I have so many decks. And I feel like I'm forgetting a couple tarot decks, but the one that I got about a week or two ago is the Wild Unknown Tarot, and it comes in this beautiful box, and I was so excited to get it. So it opens up like this, and you got the book. I haven't read with this deck yet, but I always wanted it, and so the book is pretty thick, and however, you'd have to get a different book to kind of do research and stuff on the cards. Like, this isn't a book for beginners, I would say, because it kind of has like short descriptions of the cards, so it's not a deck for beginners. And then the deck, if I can get it out, comes in this other durable box, because most decks aren't durable. And there's the front, and the artwork is beautiful in this deck. So the backs just look like this, and the cardstock I really like because it's matte. It's got like a matte finish, and here's some of the artwork in here. So there's the Wheel of Fortune. It's gorgeous. I can't wait to do journeys with this deck. And then, so that's a 7 of staves, or wands, however you want to look at it. There's some more. So it's just got this simple but very detailed artwork to it. And it's just different than any other deck out there right now. And I want to get the Wild Animal Tarot Unknown as well. So the Fool is this little baby duck. I don't know, I just like the black and white with a splash of color. So Mother of Cups, that's going to be the Queen, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And these are swans, and then Father of Cups. Let's see if I can find another. Look at this card. This card is crazy and creepy, I would have to say. Wonder if this deck would be good with shadow work as well. I'm not sure. I'm gonna find out because I haven't used this deck. Okay, so that is the Wild Unknown Tarot deck, which is gorgeous, and I can't wait to do readings with it for clients or just anybody that wants a reading, because I definitely want to work with this deck. It's beautiful. And I think that is all of the tarot decks that I have at this moment. I am going to be getting more. There's a lot more on my wish list, and I do have a couple oracle decks, but I think I'm going to show those to you next time, simply because this video is kind of lengthy, and I'll just leave oracle in a separate video. So I'll just leave you with thank you for stopping by at In the Mist. Analia Raven here, and if you like what you see, if you like any of the tarot decks, just hit a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my video. And I will be doing readings in the future for individuals, and I will be filming those and posting those on YouTube as well, so stay tuned for those videos, and stay tuned for the Oracle deck collection show, I guess. I don't know what to call this one, because I just wanted to get on YouTube because it's been a while since I posted a video, and I wanted to say hi everybody, and I'm still alive, I'm still here, and stay tuned for more. Many blessings.